So I'd like to say hello and welcome to Kevin Atkins, who works for Quantum Rehab. Welcome to the Future of Mobility.
Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Very good. Thank you for joining us. I know you've got a very busy schedule at the moment, so I appreciate that. I just wanted to perhaps wonder if you could perhaps give us an overview about Quantum Rehab, just explain what you do and your role within them.
Yeah, sure. Quantum Rehab is a manufacturer of complex powered wheelchairs. They've been in existence since the year 2000. It's part of a larger group, Pride Mobility Products, who have been around since the 80s. They manufacture mobility scooters, riser recliner armchairs, which assist people getting into a stand from a sitting position, and other mobility products, more sort of entry-level power chairs. And then back in the year 2000, the owner decided that it was time to spend some money in investment in more complex side of power chairs and look at the needs of the more complex user. So Quantum Rehab was born, and they went on a mission basically to start designing power chairs for people with more severe disabilities. And it's been a long journey, over 20 years, and we're at a stage now we've got some fantastic products which are sold globally, all over the world in multiple countries. Wow. And it's a pleasure to work with the company. There's some fantastic ideas, some fantastic products. It makes my job very, very easy in some respects.
So your products are used literally globally, are they?
Yeah, all over the world. I mean, we're not in every country yet, but we're spreading far and wide at the moment.
Do you have manufacturing plants in the different areas, or are they all made centrally and sent out?
Yeah, they're manufactured, or the components are manufactured all over the world. They're assembled in several locations around the world, so America, Canada, Australia, here in the UK, Holland, wow. Some other places as well. So yeah, a lot of assembly. So all the components are made all over the world. They come together in different factories. We've got one here in Oxford, Bicester in Oxfordshire, and there we have a team of people who build the chairs according to the specification requested. Wow. So yeah, thousands of components, as you can imagine.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of this nature.
So how have, in the journey of Quantum Rehab, the problems that you solve for people, how have they changed and evolved? Has it been a complex journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey. When power chairs first came out, they were quite basic. So just a frame, motors, batteries, and some basic electronics. Where we're at now is very different. The problems have always been there. The needs have always been there for the individuals, but the technology hasn't. And so over the last 20, 30 years, we've seen a massive advancement in the technology on these powered wheelchairs, from just a basic, like I say, frame and motors, to really complex suspensions, electronics, seating functions, which will do all sorts of things to relieve pressure care. One of the best advancements we have is the eye level technology, which allows you to elevate the seat up to 12 inches above the chassis, which gets you up to, like it says, eye level with a standing person, and allows you to interact, be more sociable, has a lot of medical benefits, and also allows you to drive the chair somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5 miles per hour while fully elevated. A lot of power chairs don't allow you to do.
I'm guessing things like if you're in a bank and you want to speak to the person in the bank, often it's quite a high, isn't it? So I guess simple things like that makes a big difference to people.
It does, yeah. Just if you're in a crowd of people and they're all standing and you're down quite low, nobody's talking in your head. You necessarily can't hear very well. You've got to look up and strain your neck to get into the conversation. So to be able to bring your seat up and be at the same level as all those standing people and interact, socially, makes a big difference. And then be able to move quickly when you need to, without having to put the seat back down.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What sort of range do the wheelchairs have? Can they travel quite a distance?
Well, that's a good question, because we're just at a stage now where the technology is about to shift, I think, in the next year or so. Oh. So the batteries at the moment would be regular gel or lead acid batteries, like you would use in not a car, but say like a caravan. So they're designed to a long, steady draw of power over a period of time. Yeah. And they would have a range of, depending on the type, size of battery and the weight of the wheelchair and the person in the wheelchair, probably around 10 to 15 miles.
Right. Wow.
Okay, so at the moment there's a lot of lot of work on with probably a lot of manufacturers on lithium batteries, which have a huge range. And, we're talking about most of our power chairs have 2 batteries installed in them, and I said they'll give you a range of about 15 miles. I think the way we're going is you'll be able to have 1 lithium battery of equivalent size to 1 gel battery, and that might get you 50 miles. So 2 batteries will get you potentially up to 100 miles. So
wow,
and the batteries, the way they can be cared for, they can be not used and abused, but they don't have to be cared for quite so well as a gel battery. In terms of people, how they look after them, it's a bit like your mobile phone. You can plug it in here and there, and you can really sort of abuse it. The battery still works really well.
Yeah.
Batteries are like that. So the plan is that if we can move to lithium batteries in the future, people will be able to travel perhaps up to 50 to 100 miles before needing to charge the chair.
Amazing.
So that's going to make a huge difference for somebody that wants to spend a day out and about, isn't then limited by the range and having to come home and recharge the chair. We're excited to see how that goes. That's something.
Yeah, very much. That is a real changer, isn't it, in terms of people's access. Well, we have a great clip now of your most advanced powered wheelchair that's made out in the US. Let's watch it now. You look into organisations like yours, you just sort of assume that all the bits arrive in the factory and someone assembles it and off it goes and it's built and made and finished. But I'm guessing you've got designers and people. I mean, do you have a whole separate division looking at the batteries? Do you know what I mean? Is it obviously many different roles?
There's a team in the USA, a large team in the USA in R&D. There are lots of different types of role within that organisation.
Yeah. So R&D, is research and development, yeah.
Research and development, in the States, and they, I think there's over 60 people there, and they basically, they're the guys and girls that come up with all the new ideas. We give feedback to them, and they go away and scratch their heads, and they come up with the next phase of products for us. And quite an exciting role to be in is to be designing the future.
I guess it's one of those sort of rare occupations when you're doing something really exciting, cutting edge, but it's so worthwhile at the end of it.
I think that's why all of us, no matter what part we work in with Quantum, that's why we do what we do, is because the end goal is to see somebody using one of our products and getting the benefit of that, and sort of job satisfaction that brings. To I think everybody that does it for that reason. It can be challenging, it can be hard work, it can be happy times and sad times, but on the whole it's fantastic to see somebody getting that independence back from getting a powered wheelchair and just getting to do what they want to do.
Absolutely. I can imagine you get a lot of thank yous from a lot of happy customers from around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's loads of stories globally. We see a lot of those on social media, which really inspire you to
absolutely,
and go to the next level.
Of course, yeah. So apart from the forthcoming, hopefully with the battery power, where people can obviously travel much longer, are there any other issues or stuff that you guys are focusing on at the moment?
There's a lot of stuff going on with the research and development. Probably, to be honest with you, a lot of it I can't talk about because it's just you know, it's a competitive world. Actually, there are a lot of I say a lot. There's probably half a dozen or so manufacturers that deal with a really sort of complex, high-end powered chairs, and it is a competitive market. Everyone wants to have the best products. You know, that's natural in any industry, I suppose. Is you want to be innovating, have the most appealing products, the most attractive to look at in terms of aesthetics and appearance.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of going on in the background now with the next sort of generation. It's hard to talk about what's coming through because obviously I don't know who will see these videos, but
I understand absolutely.
I think what we're thinking about is what's the next thing that people need. You know, like the batteries is one, the range on the batteries.
Yeah.
What else is missing? What else can we do to enhance people's lives? Make the next generation of power chairs even better than the ones before. It's just that constant progression, really.
Yeah.
Not standing still, not waiting. You know, reinvesting in new ideas, feedback from wheelchair users.
I was going to say, do you thrive on getting feedback from people who say, "I've got this, it's great, but if only it could do this"? And I guess your R&D division kick in and try and solve that problem.
Yeah, we have groups of users that use the products. They give feedback, have meetings, discuss, what the challenges are, what's good, could be better, what they'd love to see on the chairs if it was possible, and then all that's fed back, and wherever we can make that development, if it's a viable and something that's possible.
Amazing, yeah.
To push on to that next phase.
Well, let's take a look at our final video clip today, which is all about a lady called Stephanie Woodward. So I'm we spoke briefly before we started the interview, and you were saying that you, as a lot of people do, I guess, they go through their lives and they find a job and they just kind of fall into it and then love it and want to stay there, which clearly is what you've done. What was your journey? You obviously went to college and then
I ended up getting a job at a mobility centre.
Right.
Through connection with this person, and I started just unpacking boxes and PDIing manual wheelchairs and powered wheelchairs. After a short time, I realised this was quite interesting, and the manager said, "Would you like to learn more about the products and disabilities?" And this quickly.
So I'm sorry. Say again.
It sort of quickly went from sort of unpacking boxes to sort of training on products and disabilities, and then doing assessments and then prescribing mobility products to individuals. And it became something that became really interesting. It was a really interesting job.
Of course, yeah.
Satisfaction was really good. You felt you were doing something really worthwhile.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because part of the reason we're running this event today, obviously we're talking about the future of mobility, but it's also perhaps getting the audience just to consider job roles and organisations like yourself, which, with respect, I hadn't heard of till I came across you online. But obviously, there's many varied roles within your organisation, which hopefully the young students watching can perhaps consider that as a potential option for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I say there's office-based roles, there's warehouse roles, there's building power chairs, there's designing power chairs, there's the marketing, the sales roles like my role. We're out on the road seeing people. We get to travel all over the UK, and we get to travel through Europe as well. We do exhibitions in Germany. I've got colleagues all over the world that we all connect with and talk.
Yeah.
So, it's a large family, and it's global. So you spread far and wide. It's a really enjoyable,
fantastic
role to do, really. And like I say, there's lots of interesting stuff going on, lots of interesting roles, and then not just other manufacturers as well. So although we're competitors, we're all sort of friendly, and we'll see what the others are doing, and that inspires us. So it's good. It's a really good industry to be in. It's an interesting.
Brilliant. And if our audience today is interested in perhaps finding a bit more out about you guys, what's the website where they can go and have a look at some of the great stuff you're doing?
In the UK, it's quantumrehab.co.uk.
Fantastic.
You can look at all the different power chairs. There's all the technical information, brochures, and then you've got quantumrehab.com as well, which is the US website, which has even more on there. And then we own another company called Stealth Products, which make all the seating. So you think about a power chair, you have to put a lot of seating components on there to support somebody, to headrests and what we call lateral supports that keep you in your position, knee supports, foot supports, all sorts of different things, and then different types of control systems. You don't have to drive a chair with a joystick. You can drive it with a head control.
Incredible.
The joystick on your chin. We do fiber optics, so you can break a beam to make a chair drive. There's lots of really cool stuff you can use. If somebody's got the function, no matter how small, we can get them in a powered wheelchair. So there's loads of really cool stuff. So the stealthproducts.com as well, and there's stacks on there as well. Really interesting stuff. So if everyone gets a chance, go and have a look around there. You can see exactly what we do.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much. It's been a fascinating insight into what you guys do, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Take care.